Let the galaxy burn.
Sometimes fate takes care of itself.
Hello guys, and welcome to my Lorgar video. Yes, I finally have Lorgar. I think I ended up working through 28,000 gold coins to get him, so I'm pretty much broke now. And yeah, why did I really want him so much? Mostly because I think he's got the best voice lines in the game. He's got a great set of interactions with other warlords, which are always fun to watch. And especially once we transform him into his Whispers form, Whispers of Chaos form, his voice lines get really, really good. And I'm an art collector, as it were, in this game, so 28,000 gold for a character with good voice chats, totally worth it for me. Alright, anyway, let me just talk a little bit about Lorgar first, then I'll talk through my deck, and we'll see my deck in action. So, first of all, Lorgar himself. So, as far as Primarchs go, in his base form, he is amongst the weaker ones. And that's sort of true, I guess, true to the lore, where many of the Primarchs viewed that Lorgar was the weakest amongst them. That changes once you trigger his Whisper, but let's take a look over here. 2 attack and 40 health. He does have cheaper demon maintenance, and that ends up being probably the most useful thing about him in his base form. And his energy ability, it's really expensive for what it does. So you'll notice I rarely use it in these matches unless I really have a great opportunity to do something with that. So what this means is, really, as Lorgar in his base form, you're probably not going to be doing much with him. Not attacking, not using his ability that much, and so on. Where it becomes totally worth it, though, is once you trigger his Whisper. And to trigger his Whisper, you need to have demons in play. So at the very least, by your 10 energy turn, you need to start your turn with 10 demons in with 3 demons in play, or you can trigger it earlier if you get more demons in. But you really want to trigger his Whisper, because once you do that, he goes from being one of the weakest Primarchs to one of the very best. So both of his abilities actually get big upgrades. So his passive ability improves to remove the maintenance of all demons, which is very useful. But more to the point, his energy ability becomes cheaper and way better. You spend 1 energy, and by late game you've got a lot of times when you have 1 energy left, and you deal 2 to 3 damage, which is actually very good for 1 energy. But that's not all, because when the target dies, you put in play a random lesser demon, which you then pay no maintenance on. So it is excellent. So Lorgar Transfigured is probably one of the best Whisper forms of the Primarchs. In his base form, he's pretty bad. Alright, before we talk about the deck, just going back a little bit to talk about Lorgar. So, because you really want to make him trigger his Whisper ability, in most of your games, you're going to be playing the long game. You're not racing to finish a match. And what that means is he has difficulty against warlords who throw out a lot of damage quickly. In particular, Angron can be a very tough match, as can Konrad Curze, because Konrad Curze relies on playing the long game to turn into the Night Haunter, which becomes extra nasty. So in my experience, Konrad Curze is probably the very hardest warlord to face with Lorgar, followed by Angron. Alright, so that's the downside of him. The upside, though, is if you can make the game, if you can pull the game along, you will actually do incredible things as Lorgar. And by the end game, he can have one of the strongest board presences I've seen in this game. Alright, enough of that. Let's go ahead and talk about my deck. So, I tried a couple different decks from people in my lodge, and that was great for learning. I personally didn't seem to be as successful as they did, but I've ended up putting this list together. So this is the current version of my deck. The original version had 2 of the Beast of Fyras over there, instead of what's now there as Skitarii Protectors. And my original logic with Beast of Fyra was Usually you don't use them because maintenance 3 is really crippling. I had hoped that Lorgar's passive ability would make that much more usable, but honestly I found that having Beast of Fire in play was way more of a liability for me than it was actually a help for me. I then decided that perhaps what I needed was some front line, so I replaced those Beast of Fires with Boris's trackers, and that did pretty well for me. Like, I was reasonably happy with it, but then I bumped into a problem where stealth enemies were occasionally giving me a little too much trouble. So I changed it up and ended up putting in Skitarii Protectors instead, who combine the role of frontline and anti-stealth for one more energy cost. So that's what my deck is looking like right now. So let's go ahead and run through the deck from bottom to top, explaining the cards and their roles. First of all, Nerdlings. Nerdlings are great for Lorgar. They make sure you always have a card to put in play. They're useful for chipping out 1 point of damage to enemies. With 3 health, they're difficult to kill. But most importantly, Nerdlings have a role to play throughout the match. In the early game, they're just a handy, useful body on the board for you. Make sure you always have one in play because they keep coming back to your hand. In mid-game, you'll see we've got some cards later on which start to buff them or transform these Nerdlings into Chaos Spawns. And then in late game, Nerdlings become really important because remember, Lorgar's Whisper reduces the cost by 2 per demon in play. So with Nerdlings, you can spend 1 energy to put a Nerdling in play, but bring down your Whisper cost by 2. Meaning, if you have 3 demons in play already at the beginning of your 9 energy turn, you can drop a Nerdling onto the board, and that reduces your Whisper cost to 8 energy, and after playing the Nerdling, you will have 8 energy left. And that means you can trigger your Whisper 1 turn earlier, which is great. So Nerdlings, fantastic for Lorgar, good to have 2 of them. Now this deck is going to have lots and lots of demons. I originally tried with 2 Testamentum Veritases, but then I just found that there were too many occasions when I had a Testamentum Veritas in hand and it wasn't quite the right time to play it, so I cut down to 1 of these. These are actually useful for buffing Nerdlings into being, instead of a 1-3 unit, a 2-4 unit, which is more useful in many scenarios. Heralds of Truth. This is one which I'm a little bit on the fence on right now. I've only ever, I think, really gotten 1 time where I've been able to use it for great value. It might go away soon, I just haven't figured out what I want to replace it with. Maybe a Melgator. Yeah, you know what, I should probably replace Heralds of Truth with Melgator at this point. I'll do it later. Alright, Zesugol Squad, these are one of my favorites from the Word Bearers. There's so many useful things you can do with having 3 cheap troops in play. Definitely keep them. I'll talk more about what you'll do with those in a moment. Abandoned Supplies, that's there just to give me a useful 2 energy card early on. Hopefully it lets you play something powerful earlier than the enemy expects it. So I think I ended up taking out 1 Testamentum Veritas and replacing it with 1 of the Abandoned Supplies. Terror Hounds, alright. These are pretty good for Lorgar. Normally these suck as a frontline unit because of that heavy maintenance cost. With Lorgar, their maintenance penalty goes down to just 1, which is useful. And they become an excellent unit for their cost with that. So for 3 energy, you get 5 attack and 3 health. Just watch out because your enemies will absolutely love hitting these guys with Seek and Destroy, spending 2 energy to just kill them. Soreback Pal, officially my favorite legendary card for the Word Bearers. This guy is great. He works really well with Zesugol Squad, where you drop a Zesugol Squad in 1 turn, your enemy hopefully ignores them because they're so weak and their Wounded Zealots are extra weak, and then Soreback Pal shows up and you suddenly turn the Zesugol Squad and the 2 Wounded Zealots into 3 Chaos Spawns. It's fantastic. This has been one of the legendaries from the Word Bearers I've always loved playing with the most. We also get Gorlem Squad over here. So Gorlem Squad is another one which combos very well with Zesugol Squad. And honestly, even if you don't have Zesugol Squad in play, these guys, they're worth it for their stats alone. So I like them. Ashen Circle, one of my favorite Wordbearer troops as well. You put them on the board, you'll hopefully kill a wounded zealot from Zesugul squad, or maybe even if you replace Heralds of Truth with Melgator, you can kill Melgator with the Ashen Circle, and then they gain fast, and so you can plow them into the enemy and do lots of splash damage if they hopefully die. It's great. I love it. Cephalon squad. So these guys, they've got average stats for 4 energy. The real value is in their energy ability, putting in play 2 righteous zealots, and the righteous zealots themselves will spawn wounded zealots when they die. And so for a deck where you've got many abilities which rely on units dying, these guys can be very helpful. So I like Cephalon squad. Jadamus squad, these just help you to build up board numbers. I love them. They're very useful in every way. Stats are a little bit poor, but remember, every time you play a Jadamus squad, you also get a Horse Occultist, so it's neat. Diabolist Vol, also one of the most excellent Wordbearer cards. One of these in play with a couple of demons and units to die is powerful. If you ever manage to get 2 of these guys in play and 1 or more other demons out there, and units which begin dying during your turn, you will trigger some crazy amounts of buffing, because each Diabolist Vol will issue buffs to your other units and each other. So it's amazing, and themselves too, actually. Camille, another excellent Wordbearer's card. This is direct and splash damage, so it's super useful. So yes, please, we'll keep that. Karthus said, now this guy is always going to die before his sacrifice triggers, but he's great as a sponge, basically. So you're trying to get the enemy to either spend their powerful cards or their and a lot of energy finishing him off before he can actually attack and die and become a real problem for them. So Karthus said is useful. As I said, I've got Skitarii Protectors here. You can put in any other frontline unit instead. Destiny's Hand. Alright, so this is one of those other scenarios where Zesugul squad and Nerdlings are useful. For 8 energy, you can play a Zesugul squad, and then Destiny's Hand to convert them all into Chaos spawns, as well as hopefully any enemies, but also any Nerdlings you have in play. If they've taken any damage at all before you play Destiny's Hand, the Nerdlings will get upgraded into Chaos spawns, and the Nurgling card themselves will go back into your hands. You can repeat them again later, so that's super useful. Lastly, we have the Mutant Astartes. So this guy is really powerful. He does have that awful drawback of destroying another random friendly enemy troop, so you just better hope you've got plenty of people out on the board before you play Mutant Astartes, or that you have no troops on the board before you play Mutant Astartes. I've been tempted to try to maybe replace him with one of the other Wordbearer cards like Dark Martyr or Possessed Marine. I might still do that in future, I just haven't made a decision yet. And lastly, Sor Talgron, because we have a fair number of Astartes in this deck, right? We've got Mutant Astartes, we've got Karthus, we've got the Diabolist, Jadamus, Gordem Squad, Zesugul Squad. Sor Talgron usually always manages to pull out some cheap marine cards when I play him. If you remember when I did my Wordbearers reveal, I originally had said that Sor Talgron is not great, because he's a late game card with a long-term payoff. But, as I mentioned earlier in this video, Lorgar plays the long game, so he can usually really benefit from Sor Talgron. So I like having him there. Alright, so that's the deck. I'll just show it to you one last time over here. And now we're going to go ahead and watch a couple of matches of this deck or its variants with other units instead of Skitarii Protectors in action. One final point, of course, as always, what happens if you don't have the Legendaries? Okay, that's a little bit tougher. Let's take a look. We have 4 Legendaries in here. Sorbak Paul, Karthus, oh, forgot about the Architect of Heresy. That's always great. And then Sor Talgron. But let's talk through this. So the easy one, if you don't have Architect of Heresy, well, then what you want to just go with for 7 energy will be Balthimir's Sword. It's a common. Hopefully you've already got that pretty easily. Balthimir's Sword will destroy any enemy instead of stealing an infantry or Astartes. And as a bonus, it stuns the enemy warlord. Alright, so let's go back. What else do we have? So instead of Sorbak Paul, well, it's going to be harder to spawn demons as Lorgar if you don't have Soarback Ball. Like, I think he's a lot harder to play without this guy. Substitutes for him. Wow, well that's going to be a little bit tough. Assuming, let's take any legendaries out of the question as a replacement. Maybe Fanatical Zeal, because you really want to try and keep your units alive, perhaps. Like, if you can't turn your people into demons, keeping them alive might be a good substitute instead. Alright, heading back. Soarback Ball. If you don't have Karthus Head, Karthus Head's also another very easy replacement, because as I mentioned, he's there just to soak up damage. There's so many other cards which can do that. Probably the best damage sponge unit to throw out there if you don't have him is going to be Forced Ogrins, or even Merit's Mercenaries. At 5 energy, if you really had to put something else in place, maybe Dark Brethren could be handy. Defense Satellites to weaken enemies. Pretty much, you can pick your choice. Anything which is 5 energy and the enemy is going to really want to kill is a good substitute for Karthus Head. And the last one, Sword Talgron over here. Again, not too hard to replace. If we were to look at expensive cards down here, I wouldn't necessarily put Kalim of the Anunnaki, because by late game, often many of your infantry are dead, and so his rally ability doesn't trigger well. The Marigal Dreadnought could be useful, or failing that, again, you can just go through and look for any high cost, high threat unit you have out there, and try and put that in instead. Maybe even a Lernia Hydra would be good. It'll mess up the enemy's late game plans. Yeah, that would actually be a good one. Lernia Hydra is a really great 8 energy unit. It fits into practically every single deck and will always help over there. Alright, so one final look at the deck, and now we're going to go ahead and see it in action. Okay, so we're kicking off with an Angron match over here. This is a pretty good set of cards to start with. I've got something for turn 1, something for turn 2. I'll take it, let's go. So as I said, I love Lorgar because of all the unique interactions he has with different warlords. Okay, there's my Nerdlings for turn 1. Obviously Gorlim squad in turn 2, and Cephalon squad will come in turn 3. Okay, it comes back to my turn. Oh, perfect, we even got Jadimus squads coming. Okay, let's drop the Gorlim squad. Unfortunately, I can't trigger his Demon Host ability because there's no infantry to kill, but whatever. Okay, so there we go. So who's he taking out? He's going for the straight up damage race to try and take me down quickly. Alright, so now this turn I've got a choice between Cephalon squad or Jadimus squad. I'm gonna go with Cephalon squad for now, because then next turn I can drop Jadimus squad and spend the remaining 1 point of energy triggering Cephalon squad's ability. Yeah, look at that. That Angron is hitting me hard. So I'm going down. I'm 7 points of health behind him now, but this is where I can start throwing out numbers. So create some troops and drop Jadimus squad and create new troops. There we go. That's board presence. Even a satellite strike can't wipe out everything. Alright, he went with trying to take me down faster, so now I am 9 points of health behind him. Alright, let's go. Let my zealots spawn other troops. Drop my Ashen Circle, who will kill one of those troops. Ashen Circle will just now jump in for another 4 points of damage plus 2 points as he dies. And I will attack with the Cultist, which is going to create a Taint of Chaos, who I'll put on my Cephalon squad. Ooh, that's handy. 4 damage. But no, I'm going to spawn some more troops. I'm not attacking with Jadimus squad because I want Jadimus squad to live as long as possible to keep spawning more Horus Occultists. Okay, void engagement. What a surprise, the Angron had a bunch of tactics in his deck. Okay, so now he's trying to do a fast burn to take me down. Numbers are beginning to count against him. But he's going to be in trouble now. Oh, I think this is over. Let's go. Cameo is 4 points of damage, so I think I've got enough to cover him now. Let's go ahead, see if I get a Mark of Corn on these guys. Nope, it's Jazinch. Oh well, let's just go. I think I can still win. I can do... yeah, I have enough points of damage here. Keep throwing my units in. Now, if I had a Sorbal pack, I would have all the demons for days.
Sometimes fate takes care of itself.
And another classic Lorgar chat line. And that's it. Angron down. Okay, so that was the first of the matches showing how this deck does. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. This next fight is against Raum, aka Baby Angron. Arguably, Raum is better than Angron. Even though he has way less health, he manages to heal when chewing up weak targets, which means he can often actually take more damage than Angron can. Of course, he's got no Whisper form to trigger. Anyway, looking at my cards, which I started with, too many Terror Hounds to begin with. I've got nothing for the first or third turns. So I'm going to try and replace Diabolist and Terror Hounds. Still got not great options here. Okay, so Raum is charging into me as expected. And oh, that's a great start by him. Look at that. I'm down 3 points of health. He's down nothing. So I'm only 7 points of health ahead of him. Now this is one of those matches where I now put Boris's trackers in instead. There's a void engagement. He drew a troop, not a tactic. Alright, let's give him something to chew on. We're going to throw the Terror Hounds out right now. See if he enjoys this. Now, of course, Raum has wings, or meaning he has unstoppable, so Terror Hound actually doesn't do anything, but the 5 points of damage was hopefully going to worry him, although I guess he's just bypassing it straight up. Okay, so I am still now 5 points of health ahead of him only. But remember, I started on 10 points of health ahead. Okay, so he's killing the guy to make sure no more cultists keep spawning. Oh, Manifest Destiny. So now we're on equal health, and of course he's doing more damage than I do. Just throwing Boris's trackers out there for now. I'm not throwing the Zesugol squad out. I don't like using Zesugol squad against Raum, because those wounded zealots are basically healing for Raum. He can kill a wounded zealot and heal for more damage than he takes. Oh, look at that. Possessed Marine. Okay, this is where Zesugol squad is a go. So drop Zesugol squad. We bring out the Ashen Circle. Kill one of the wounded zealots so I get fast, and now I can throw him into the Possessed Marine. And the total splash damage does that. Perfect. So he's on 26 health, I'm on 31. Oh, he just healed a bit more. So he's now on essentially 27 health and I'm on 31. And good artillery strike, completely wiping my board. Okay, and there's a Jubak. Let's go ahead, kill Jubak. Always a high priority. And actually cannot do anything else now. So I am just going to pass my turn. And that's one of the problems with Lorgar. You don't have a lot of great options on what to do with spare energy. Okay, here comes some more healing. Ooh, that's a great combo. High Alpha into that squad. What was it? Gorlem squad. I need to use that combo in more decks. Okay, we have Diabolus Vol ready to go. And now I may as well just try and buff him a little more. He's got Terror, but he's not going to survive this turn. Oh, maybe he will. No, he probably won't. Oh yeah, there he goes. Definitely not surviving. Ouch. Okay, so I am now behind on health. This Raum feels like he's having a good day. Oh, look at that. More healing. He's healing the Gorlem squad. Okay, what's going to come up? Sortalgron. Ooh, that is nice. Sortalgron comes up and I get a bunch of cheap units. Exactly what the doctor called for. Void engagement. He is running out of cards, actually. There we go. And he damages Sortalgron. And he does go straight for me. He's trying to do the fast burn to take me down. More healing. Great. Nerdlings. Okay. So here's what we do. Diabolus Ball goes in play. Next, Architect of Heresy is going to steal his guy over there. Who's now, because he's got flank, I can act with him immediately. And he gets some buffs going. Alright, this is starting to turn around. I've got much stronger board presence. He's wiping out Sortalgron, I believe. Yep, bye-bye, Sor. Diabolus keeps buffing up. Okay. He will kill me in 3 turns at the most right now, so gotta win soon. Okay, let's go. We're gonna drop Cephalon squad first. We'll also drop Karthus said, the Nerdlings, and we will give Karthus said, ooh, Demon Host and Survivor. That's neat. So now I've got complete board domination. Here comes an artillery strike. He is finishing off. But the Survivor saved my Diabolist, and he realizes it's over at this point. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was a win against Raum, aka Baby Angron. Now I really like this next fight against Flamemaster Modrim. So Flamemaster, obviously, his specialty is stopping units from attacking. Luckily, Lorgar does not like attacking. So we're just going to go ahead and replace Sortalgron. He's a real late game guy. And we've got Zestigal Squad and the Heralds of Truth. Go ahead and put my Zestigal Squad in play. He won't be able to play Rule of Fear this early, so these guys are pretty safe. Okay, there we go. He's trying to avoid attack. He's trying to stop me from attacking. That's all good. Ooh, neat. Terror Hounds. Or, in this case, Heralds of Truth, because I'm about to have 3 units die. Let's go ahead and make me some demons over here. Demon number 1, Battleflies. Alright. Demon number 2 is Tilat's Changers. I don't have too many tactics. I'm not happy about that. And demon number 3 is Screamers. Alright, okay. I mean, obviously, I think his ability is going to be used to kill the Screamers, but whatever. Okay, let's go ahead and start with some Battleflies. There's no point putting a frontline unit down right now. There's nothing to defend against with front lines. Now, the Battleflies have maintenance cost of, I believe, 2. So my energy pool is down by 1 this turn. So let's drop Tilat's Changers this time. And go and keep attacking him. Still a 10-point gap between us. Modrim's ability damages those Battleflies, but they started off with a massive health pool anyway. Okay, and he goes for the Tilat's Changers. Okay, 4 energy again. So I'm going to bring in the Terror Hounds. And just keep the pressure going on him. And make sure he's got no board presence. That's good. Those 2 demons will die soon. Oh, they die now. Perfect. Yep, and he uses his ability to finish off my demons. Okay, that's cool. He burned a lot of his area damage there. So I'm going to bring in Abandoned Supplies. Let's see what I get for a discount. Ooh, Sortalgron. A cheap Sortalgron. Guess who's going to play next turn? And there's my Diablos. I was kind of hoping they would get Ward, which would protect them from Flamemaster, but whatever. So now they can't attack, but that's okay. Diabolists are there for buffing, not direct attacks. Okay, ooh, Testamentum Veritas, nice. So here's a Sortalgron. And I am not playing Testamentum Veritas yet. So he uses 2 energy to stun Sortalgron. That's fine. He uses 2 energy to hit my Diabolist. And he keeps trying to heal himself again. But now I've got all those cheap Marines from the Diabolist. From Sortalgron, rather. Let's go ahead and get ready to overwhelm him. Here's Karthus said. Here's a Cephalon squad. Here's some Screamers, so he can choose now. If he decides to stop one of my other strong guys from attacking, the Screamers will kill him. If he stops the Screamers from attacking him, my strong guys will go for him. Okay, so he saw the danger that I would spawn lots of units and use them for stuff. So that was clever of him. Here comes an artillery strike. Okay, good, it didn't kill Assault Algar. He's also now out of options. Obviously, he can now attack him, which will trigger a greater demon to spawn. There we go. Oh, it's a Slayer of Worlds. Was kind of not hoping for that. Oh well. Here's another Diabolist. So he's hopefully going to now just get focused on trying to keep that Slayer stun locked, which is going to give me a chance for my other guys to do some good work. Here. Now the Soreback Paul will spawn a demon. Perfect. Alright. There, as expected, he went to damage the Slayer of Worlds and give it cannot attack. He finishes off Sword Algar, my strongest guy on the board, but that now causes more buffs to go in play. And there's another demon. Rule of Fear. Who's he killing? Oh, Soreback Paul, but that causes more buffing to go on. And I think he realizes it's got to be over now. Yep, it's over. More buffs. Attack. And here comes another attack, and then here comes the finishing move. You know, I could have played Testamentum Veritas here to make my guys extra strong as well. Whatever. That was over. Alright, the final win we're going to see is from this new season now. It's a win against Dirac Trask, which is an interesting little fight. My initial starting units were both way too expensive, so let's put them away. Terror Hounds is neat, I like that. Let's go. So obviously Dirac Trask can be annoying to face because your damaged units will just get killed by him very cheaply. Okay, there's a little bikey bike. I will try to kill the bike before playing a unit, so the bike's sort of death rattle effect won't damage one of my own guys. Because if my own guys get damaged, Dirac Trask can just kill them. Here, have some Terror Hounds. Okay, there's another bike. Fantastic. Ooh, and a front line unit, a tough one. Okay, well, this makes the decision a little bit easier. We're going to destroy the front line unit. Drop Gorlem squad, and then attack. Now who's the death rattle gonna hit? Okay, good, it hit the demon, which means I won't pay any maintenance next turn on that. Okay, I'm behind Dirac Trask on health now, which is obviously not where I want to be. I'm gonna actually just buff him, and now attack. Okay, so I'm almost even on health. I was saving this Camille in case something more dangerous shows up. Sort of like that, I guess. There's no point playing Camille yet because it wouldn't destroy that thing. Oh, look at that. Favorite of Nurgle. Extra dangerous now. But I can do 5 points of damage through direct attack plus Camille afterwards, so this is still good. There we go. And now his little structure dies. He was kind of unlucky. He was obviously hoping to get a Mark of Dizinch, and then that building would be safe for pretty much ever. Okay, we're getting into the 7 energy turn. Oh, look at that. Mount Pharos. Okay, that's fine. I see you, Mount Pharos, and I raise you a Mutant Astartes. So Mutant Astartes is great because, obviously now it dies now, but it's a cheap unit because of the drawbacks which it has. But if you can engineer a situation where the drawback, like it kills one random unit every turn, doesn't really occur, then you're in a good position. Alright, couldn't really do much, I just gave those guys a Mark of Chaos. Not Mark of Chaos, a demon host, which turned into wings, which is actually pretty lucky for me. Ooh, healing his little mountain. Nice. Okay. Not the worst marine unit he could have gotten. Not super bothered by that. But this feels like a really great chance for Destiny's Hand to kick in. So let's just go ahead and do that now. There we are. So that's going to spawn 4 chaos spawns for me, I believe. 3 and 4. Perfect. And anything else to do at this point? I'll drop a Nerdling. And I'm going to leave it there. No point putting Soreback Paul down. He'll die for no reason. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, and more front lines for protection. Lots of little points of damage on me. But I have enough demons on the board to trigger my Whisper very easily. Alright. Let's deal with this stuff now. Take out the front line. So bye-bye. Now his stuff is vulnerable. The priority is going to be that Mechanicum vehicle, so we're going to turn that into a demon for me. Perfect. And we'll take out Mount Pharos too. No more cheap marines for him. And here, have a Nerdling, because why not? Alright, so let's see. Oh, there's a Dreadnought. We have a Dreadnought. With a whopping 3 attack, he can't do much. I don't know why he tried to use the ability of these. He has nothing he could do with it. I think he made a mistake. Alright, whatever. Let's not let him recover from that mistake. Zestigal Squad into Ashen Circle. Now we drop Soreback Paul because the Ashen Circle is going to start dying. I should have dropped Soreback Paul first. I would have got a free unit actually. Free chaos spawn. Oh well. Let's go ahead and turn him into... Oh, I have no room for a chaos spawn. That was a mistake by me too. Ah. Oh well. Whatever. Let's see what Dirac brings out now. I'm kind of lucky that he's just not drawing endurance. Ooh, another Ashen Circle. This will be useful. Alright, here we go. Ashen Circle onto him. As it dies, it creates another Chaos Spawn. He can now headbutt there. I can keep attacking. I can bring in Karthus Said. And the Nerdlings. And I've got enough health left that I can just attack him directly with no risk of losing the game. There we are. Done. 3 points of health. He knows it's got to be over now. No way out.
Must taste the ashes of defeat.
Okay. Oh, he's going to take out Karthus Said. That's a waste. Oh, he's just making a statement over there. It's close, but no cookie. Alright, and now Karthus Said will just finish there, spawn a demon just because I can. And now I can just attack and win. Alright, so that gives you an idea of how Lorgar plays. Hope you guys found this video useful. Gonna round off again with just a quick view of the deck one more time. The deck, as I said, he's not the strongest warlord. Your entire victory more or less depends on being able to, especially against strong Primarchs, you have got to turn into your Whisper form. So that's, I guess, Lorgar what was the word they had for it? Ascended, was it perhaps? It was, oops, all cards. Let's go down there. Yeah, you have to turn into Lorgar Transfigured, and that's where your wins against your tough opponents are going to come. But luckily, he's one of the Primarchs where triggering your Whisper early is achievable. It's not super easy, but it's not super hard either. So I personally am enjoying him a lot. He does have these amazing chat lines I love, especially in his transfigured forms. So I'm having a lot of fun playing him. I just love being able to overwhelm your enemy with demons, spawning lots of demons, buffing them, seeing the spirits getting crushed. It's an interesting and fun playstyle, and if you have Lorgar, I hope this deck is going to help you do well with him too. Alright, until the next video, bye for now guys.